Now we're going to talk about drawing these solids. So we're going to start by drawing our prism. So first thing we want to do, we want to draw identical bases slightly off from one another. So I'm going to do two here. I'm going to do a rectangular prism and a triangular prism. So we're going to start with a triangular prism. So I'm going to draw a triangle. That's my base. I'm going to draw another triangle slightly off from one another. It should be the same size. Do your best. So I drew my triangles right here. Now I'm going to step down here. I'm going to draw them again. But the only difference is now I'm going to follow step number 2. So step number 2 says to connect the corresponding vertices. So I'm going to take a line. I'm going to connect this vertices to this vertices. I'm going to take a line and connect this vertices to this vertices. And then same thing, the bottom vertices to here. And now I've made my three-dimensional shape. And now I have to do a little alteration. So I take my triangular prism here. We need to think, for this part, we kind of need to think three-dimensionally. If you're looking at a solid shape that you can't see through, what sides would you really, or what edges would you really be able to see? So if you're looking straight, you'd definitely be able to see the front and this side here, but you probably wouldn't be able to see this edge. So what I'm going to call that hidden lines. So I'm going to take my eraser and I'm going to erase it and kind of make it a dashed line. Same thing with this back. I would have to look through this face to see this back part of my triangle. So I'm just going to take my eraser and make it dotted. And then same thing, this edge right here, you wouldn't be able to see that. So we're going to erase that and make it dotted. Eventually you'll get to the point where you don't actually have to erase it, you'll just make it dotted to begin with. Alright? So we're going to do a rectangular prism as well, right here. So for the rectangular prism, the bases are not necessarily always the bottom. As you know, with a triangular prism, the bases of a triangular prism doesn't have to be on the bottom. They could be the front and back because they're two identical bases that are parallel to one another. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put my rectangles this way, just a little easier to draw it this way. That's why I put my bases like this. So now I connect my vertices. And then I'm going to draw it, but I don't want to have to make a whole bunch of dashed lines if I could help it, or eraser marks. So I'm going to just make my dash lines as I go. Alright, so that would be how we would draw a three-dimensional prism. Next page. Let's take a look and see how we would draw a pyramid. So to draw our pyramids, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a base. So we're going to do a triangular pyramid as well as a rectangular pyramid. We'll start with a rectangular pyramid. So you start by drawing a rectangle. And you put a point directly above it. Alright, so I have my rectangle down here and my point above it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect each one of these vertices to that point. And that is my pyramid. And now again I'm going to add my hidden lines where you really wouldn't see them. So I connect my vertices, And you think about what line, what point of this, from this angle would you not see? That would only be this back line here. So we're just going to hit it with our eraser and make it dashed. All right. So we're also going to do a triangular pyramid next to it. So the base of a triangular pyramid is a triangle. So I'm going to make my triangle here, put a dot above it, make my triangle again with my dot above there. Now I connect my vertices. Alright, so we have a nice big triangular lateral face in front of us. So when we draw this one here, you think about it, we wouldn't be able to see these back edges because it'd be hidden by the front lateral face. So we're going to start, we'll draw our triangle here, like that, and then we have our dotted lines. This way I don't have to try to erase it, and that would be one way to draw a triangular pyramid. So why don't you try to draw these two on your own right here. It says draw a solid, a square prism, and a pentagonal prism, pyramid, sorry. So pause the video, try it on your own, and when you come back you can see what it looks like. Alright, so for a square prism, we're going to make one square, and do your best, and we're going to make another square slightly off from that. And we're simply just going to connect our vertices, corresponding vertices. So from this point to this point, this to this, right there. And then this one, if you think about it, it would actually be a dashed line. So, and then we would just have to adjust these two to be dashed. So that would be our square prism and our pentagonal pyramid. Pentagonal pyramid, what kind of base do you think that's going to be? Should be a pentagon, which has 5 sides. So we're going to do our best to draw a pentagon. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So if I follow my rules, draw my base, I put a point above it, and I simply connect all my vertices to that point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we'd have to go back and make our dotted lines. So that would be this one in the back, this one in the back, and then the one going up, but it's kind of hard to see. So that would be my pentagonal pyramid. All right, we flip this over. We've got a couple more problems to look at. So it says drawing views of a solid. So if we looked at this triangular prism right here, and I wanted to draw the front, the side, and the top view of this solid, let's think about if I took that triangular prism and I looked directly at the front of it. If I took this and I turned it, looked directly at the front, all I would see would be this triangle. All right? If I turned it and just looked directly at this side, all I would see would be a rectangle. And if I looked down from the top, I would see this side, I would see the other side, and it would kind of look almost like this, seeing two rectangles with a line in the middle. That line is that top edge of my shape right here. All right, now I've got a pyramid, and if I look, say, straight at the front of this pyramid, all I would see is this really tall, narrow triangle. All right, What happens if I turn it to the side and look at just the side view? I again would see just a triangle. Now, this is tricky. If I look down from the top, right, I see the bottom square and I see a point. So it actually would look like the square base. I would see the vertex at the top, and I would see each one of the edges going to the base like that. Alright, so that is the end of our note sheet. Hopefully you guys were able to get all that down. If not, you guys can go back and take a look. Alright, have a great day.